Today I'm going to make pillowy soft glazed cake donuts. This is gonna be good. To start, I have 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. To that I want to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a 1/2 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. Now, if you want less nutmeg, then maybe try 1/4 teaspoon. Now I'm going to give that a good mix. For the wet ingredients, I will be using 1 cup of buttermilk. To that, I'm going to add 2½ teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm also going to be adding 4 melted tablespoons of unsalted butter. And now I'm going to mix well. I will also be using 1 large egg. I'm just going to add that to the wet ingredients and combine well. Now I'm going to add the wet to the dry ingredients, and I'm going to try not to overmix this. You want to just sort of fold and push the dry into the wet. Almost treat it like a biscuit dough. If you overwork your batter or dough, then you'll get a tough donut. So I'm just sort of going to scrape and fold. And this is a sticky batter. And actually, I am going to shake in 2 extra tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'll adjust the recipe in the description below for you. And now the dough is still sticky, but it's workable. So I'm going to be putting this on a well-floured work surface. And again, the name of the game here is not to overwork or overmix, so I'm just going to add it to my dusted work surface. And as you can tell, even though adding those 2 extra tablespoons of all-purpose flour, it's still a sticky dough, so be careful. So now I'm going to add a little more flour and press it into a circular disc. Eventually, I'm just going to press and then roll it out to about 1/3 inch thick. It'll be 1/3 inch to 1/2 inch. It's not going to be perfect. So I'm just going to use this lid to one of those canning jars, or the rim of the lid, and I'm just going to cut a circular shape for the donut, and then a water bottle cap for the center. You would think I would have a donut cutter at this point, but I don't. So here's my cute little donut. I'm going to repeat the process until I have at least 12. This recipe will definitely give you more than a dozen. So here I have my fry oil. It's about 2½ to 3 inches deep in a heavy bottom pot. I brought it up to about 365 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to start frying my donuts. It's not going to take long, and I'm just looking for a deep golden brown color. Once the donuts are completely cooked and fried, I'm going to place them on a baking sheet with a wire rack to let any residual oil run off. So I'm going to finish frying the donuts, but I want to show you how I made the glaze. Here I have 2½ cups of confectioner sugar or powdered sugar. To that I'm going to add around a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and little by little I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water. It'll be 1/4 cup to about 5 tablespoons of cold water. Eventually you're going to have something like this, and this is a perfect glaze for these donuts. Very simple. So my donuts are fried, they're still warm, so while they're still warm you'll want to submerge them in that glaze and then place them back on your rack to just sort of let the glaze set and dry, and it's just, it's a great donut, you guys. Now it's time to dig in, and I want to show you how tender the center is. This is truly one of my favorite donuts. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching!